morning and welcome to this discussion and today's meeting in Blissful Awareness channel. Here we discuss about spiritual matters and share our own experiences in whatever practices we are doing and discuss matters related to spiritual things and daily life in whatever we want to share or talk to each other, connect with each other. This is just a excuse to be in within oneself, to be in awareness for some time, and it becomes easy when we are with like-minded people. Otherwise the whole world is ready to grab us, take us to desire fulfillment most of the time, and we don't know whose desires are that. Is it our own primary allocation for which we are born, or is it something which we have adopted, which we have taken from the world? So we have to be careful there. So today it is very open. There is no question as such, and whosoever have joined, if they have any suggestion to how to take today's discussion forward, everyone is most welcome. If you want to suggest any topic or you want to share your own experiences, your own the way you have progressed in spiritual life, how things are going, whether you believe non-duality to be your own, have you seen it as your own experience, or is it just a concept, another concept which we have heard somewhere, read somewhere, and it is not believable as such? So everybody is welcome to share their views on this, or if any query is there, clarification, explanation, can always ask.
Hello.
But yeah, please go ahead.
Good morning, Ashwinji, and all fellow seekers in this group. Uh, I'm Vipin Singla. I wanted to ask a small question, like why they are, like we all know there is non-duality and everything. Then why there are ethics? In earlier satsang also we have heard that ethics are relative, depending on the goals of a personal. But still uh, so why there is preference to some ethics?
Good. I think you are saying if everything is one or non-dual is the reality, what is the importance or relevance of ethics as such? So let us
Yes.
deliberate on this. If anybody has their views, can also share. But what is ethics? Ethics is something which generally is adopted or taken from the society, that this is a right behavior, this is a wrong behavior. It can be, I mean, expanded into a organization, as an individual, as a country, or whatever. In every situation you will find something as right and something as wrong. So we call it, if it is right, like morality, like not cheating, like speaking truth, these are considered excellence. All these are considered as ethics. Now, why it is important if everything is non-dual? See, in non-duality, ethics does not have any significance at all, because who is there to say whether it is right and wrong? This is from the non-duality state. Now, that state cannot be described in words. This is that what is called non-dual. You have to be that to know what it is. You can't understand it intellectually, first of all. So, ethics are beyond non-duality. I mean, it is in non-duality there are no ethics or non-ethics, because the experiencer and the experience are merged there, and whatever is seen is complete and whole. There is nothing right and wrong there. But when you come down in normal life, when you come down in duality, their ethics are important in the sense that what is ethics? Ethics is, from a spiritual standpoint, that which, for a seeker especially, that which takes you away from yourself is non ethical in that sense, if we say. And that which is helpful for you to go within yourself is ethical. And each individual will have his own definition about what is ethical and what is non ethical. But for a seeker, this definition is more or less very convenient, that if something is agitating me, something is pulling me in the word, something is taking me away from myself, then I can say it is not required to be pursued. It is not ethical in that sense. But in a more general term, when we interact in the society with fellow uh, beings, then ethical and non-ethical is governed by the society and by that company's rules in the association wherever we are. In certain societies, something is ethical. In some other societies, something else is ethical. So this is purely a subject of behavioral behavioral pattern. But for seeker, it is very clear that if
Yeah.
something is right, which is making you peaceful, which is filling you with love, which is making you aware of your own self, then it is right. Ethical is perhaps right and wrong on. That is my view. Maybe somebody else or Vipin, you can yourself say if that is clear or something else you wanted.
Actually, I've seen that some unethical behavior is also pulling you down. It's also involving, as some things like which are unethical, they pull you in. So, like, for example, say taking bribe. So it's rewarding, and it's involving very much involving, as immediate reward is there. So my question is that ki, say ethics involve that I am shifted. If I feel I am shifted, I will go towards ethical behavior. But if unethical things are also involving you with reward, then what can we say about it?
See, all unethical and ethical is defined by each individual. First of all, I mean, you have to see it with your own experience that what you consider as ethical and what the other person considers as ethical will be very different. Normally, I will give you a very small example, which is very prevalent in this society, is that whatever I am doing to that extent it is ethical, and whatever somebody is doing beyond that is unethical. Like, let me give you an example. If I am working in a company and I do my personal photocopying and other jobs in office xerox machine, let us say, or use office facilities to do some personal jobs, personal work, so I consider, okay, this is fine. I'm not being unethical. But for some other person, this will be unethical, right? So this definition of ethical and unethical is very, very fluid, I would say. From person to person, it varies. Normally, we are very lenient in judging us and very harsh in saying and blaming others. So whatever we do is ethical. Beyond that is unethical. This is one definition many people adopt. Now, you gave an example about bribe. So it is again very unethical from the societal point of view. But as societies grow, some societies accept it also. Okay, if I'm giving bribe and my work is getting done, that is okay. And the person who is taking bribe also tries to convince himself, yeah, this is fine. What is wrong with it? I'm taking some extra money for the services, additional services I'm providing.
Mhm.
So again, this is very, 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 I mean, this is all not actually related to spirituality, but if you are taking bribe and within yourself you think that this is wrong, mostly you will know that it is wrong, then it will make you restless. It will
Okay.
not allow your mind to settle down. It will try to seek further opportunities to enhance more wealth with you, to accumulate more wealth with you. Now, why that happens is because you have undermined your own self, and you have thought, you have given priority that whatever pleasures I am getting is from outside me. It is not from within me. So that is an ignorance, big ignorance, because you are under very deep impression that money can buy me happiness, or getting, going to some very exotic place will make me happy, having more relations around me, having more friends around me who can praise me will make me happy, looking beautiful will make me happy, or anything, any such mundane thing which so we have become very poor, right? We think that something else is going to make me happy, be it a person, be it an event, be it an situation. So there is a ignorance there, and
Okay.
that will be very short lived. Even if it makes you happy, next time more of such things will be required to make you that much of happiness, give you that much of happiness. Then it will keep on reducing, like law of diminishing returns. You need more and more and more of it to make you less and less and less happy. So, what is the opposite of it? If you start going within yourself, first of all, you define what is right and wrong. Secondly, if you comply to that rightness and that wrongness, means you don't do wrong and you comply with what is being right, then your mind will start settling in. But there is third stage, which is that I am not the doer. So for that, there's nothing as right and wrong then. If you see yourself as the whole existence, if you see non-duality right now, right here, then what is right and what is wrong? There's nothing right, nothing wrong. Because then you yourself, the person who thinks this is right and this is wrong, is slowly disappearing. That is the highest stage, I would say. Otherwise, in different layers, we have different type of behavioral patterns. So mostly, if more ignorance is there, he will have more rigid views. If less ignorance will start reducing, the views will become flexible. Okay, even this is possible, even this is possible. Then you start
Actually,
opening up your mind. Yeah, please.
actually, though, motive behind that the money from unethical means, the motive can be good also for society. That doing something good for society, not for the self. So, if that goal is there, so well, it can be, it becomes ethical. Sometimes it becomes non-ethical, depending on what you are thinking about it at that particular moment. But the motive can be selfless also. In that regard, are the unethical things justified?
Now we are entering more into behavioral things. It is what you are saying, if you are doing something unethical and it is for the larger benefit of the society, not for yourself, then
Yes.
whether it is unethical, it is not unethical then. In a sense, let us give a small example. I think it is quoted several places. Like telling truth. Is it always ethical to tell a truth? Like if you see a blind person coming and you say, "Oh, blind man, come here." So it is truth. You are not saying a lie. But is it ethical? I don't think it is ethical, right? Similarly, if a person is running towards you and you are sitting, this is again an example. A saint was sitting and a person came running to him, and he went inside his hut that there are a few people who are going to kill me. Please save me. And he sits inside his hut, hides in his hut. After a while, two persons come and ask the saint, "Have you seen that person?" Now, what is ethical for the saint? Should he allow
Mm.
those two persons and tell the truth. No, no, they are this fellow I have seen and he's hiding in my hut. So go and do whatever you want to do with him. Or he keeps mum, he kept silent. Or he can even say, no, I don't know, I have not seen it, not seen him. So he has spoken lie, which is considered unethical, but that is for a larger benefit. Now, this cannot be taken as an excuse. These are very unique situations. It is not a very common situation to be in all the time. So, if you find yourself to be doing all the time unethical for the larger benefit of society, then there is something wrong with it. Once a while, it is okay. But if you want to improve the society, then again, there is something, ignorance is still there. Why? Even by using ethical or unethical means, you want to improve the society. How can that be possible? How can that be possible? That means either you don't have any faith in the whole creation, that the society is unfair, society is wrong, society has to be improved, other persons need to know more, they need to have more. The persons who are having is not correct, they are not deserving to have those facilities or wealth, but the other person who is not having is more genuine, he should have those facilities. Are you the person to judge all this?
Uh, right. So it means that finally, whether it's ethical or unethical, it's all involving. It all promotes involving. And
Yes, sir. To, I think, let me put it more crisply now. If there is a feeling of doership, then it will lead you to unethical behavior all the time. If there is no doership, there is no ethics, no unethics. It is just being one with the whole existence, which is the truth, right? If you see the separateness, I am different from the air which I am breathing in. Is it truth? Because the air which goes out is taken in by the trees. The CO2 or carbon dioxide is taken in by the trees. Now that tree converts that carbon dioxide into oxygen, which goes in your body, and you again exhale it. It goes somewhere. It again comes in. So can you break this connection? Can you exist without air? Are you separate from air then? If you cannot live for few minutes without air, is your existence not depend on air? Not dependent on air? Is your existence not dependent on the movement of earth, which you never perceive, but it is moving with 160 kilometer per hour speed around the sun, and it is rotating on its axis, maybe, I don't know, 30,000 kilometer per hour or something like that. So if that movement stops, will you exist? But do you perceive that movement? No. Yeah, so you are thinking that I am this body and I am separate from some whatever existing outside this body. That is ignorance. Or you take it more finer, if you think I am this mind and this mind is independent, has some boundaries, that is ignorance. Where are the boundaries in the mind? Where are the boundaries in the air? Where are the boundaries in the water? Where is the boundary in the earth? Where is the boundary in space? Then how can there be boundaries in the mind, which is more subtle?
yeah,
I think.
understood. Very right. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Actually, all explanations are there inside only. But when we argue or discuss, it comes to the surface.
Yes, yes. I think that's why I always request everybody to speak up, because it's not you. Similar problems or similar types of questions will be there in everybody's mind. But once we start speaking, one that either we are corrected or we what we think is right is authenticated. So in either case, it makes a very relevant thing to speak up. Don't think that what others will think. If I start thinking, I don't know, I will be proven a fool if I start speaking in a meeting publicly like this. and upload on YouTube, I don't know what people will start thinking. Or take it to one more level, that if I start thinking that I am speaking such a genuine knowledge and there's no one who is understanding it, or if I start feeling happy, oh, this fellow has got the knowledge, now I'm very happy. And I have spoken so much, and those seekers have not understood anything, so I don't know what is happening. So, all this is rubbish. This is not what the intention is for having these meetings. The intention is just to be focused within yourself, because I am enjoying, therefore I'm speaking. The day I stop enjoying, I won't speak. Why should I? I'm not here to reform the society. I'm not here to make changes in other people's life. If it makes changes, well and good. If it doesn't make changes, well and good. See, everything is perfect as it is. But my intention is I don't have anything better to do. I think this is the best thing, which best utilization of my time. Rest other time I can use in doing my home, I mean, work in my home or in my office to earn money and make a livelihood. That is all okay. But this thing is what you genuinely love to do, right? So anything which you genuinely love to do will become a seva, a service. It becomes a beauty in itself. It becomes love in itself. It becomes very authentic. It becomes very beautiful. So, anyway, I think we have talked a lot about it. There are a few comments now. Let's move on.
Thanks.
Shyam has,
Thanks a lot
thank you.
for guiding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shyam has said, is it stealing from corrupt businessmen and politician is ethical? I think we talked about this very in a more detailed manner. If it is still not clear, you can ask. The way Krishna fought war without any expectation of results and welfare of larger good, what we learn from this? See what Krishna did. I think I'm not very competent to answer it, but from very limited, today's Janmashtami also. So today or yesterday, some people are taking it yesterday, some people today. So let us see what is Krishna. Krishna is what? Which is the bliss within is Krishna. The unknown is Krishna. The darkness is Krishna. The darkness is so dark that it encapsulates the light within itself. That is Krishna. The whole existence is Krishna for that matter. Now, the point is, when he fought without expecting any results, no, he wanted the war to be won by the Pandavas. He wanted the righteousness to win. And that was his intention, right? He did not said ki okay, I'm giving my best efforts. I don't care about what the results come. He got angry also once during the war, and he used his Sudarshan Chakra also once, and he tried all means to win the war because he wanted righteousness to be winning over the wrong, whatever he considered to be right and whatever he considered to be wrong. So he gave ample chances to avoid the war also, right? He did not said that okay, war is the end result. I mean, he gave Duryodhan the offer that you give 5 villages to the 5 Pandavas and there won't be any war. So the Duryodhan said, no, I will not give 1 centimeter of my land. Now, after so many efforts for making peace, once it was decided that the war is inevitable, then he gave his full force to see that the war is won by the righteousness. So, welfare of larger good and bad, I think for for someone like Krishna, it's very different. But for us, when we consider ourselves to be mind and body structure, so let us be more practical in the way we live. First, we have not come here to make changes in the society, to reform the society. Secondly, even Krishna after the Krishna. It's not that everybody was reformed when Krishna was alive. It's not that everybody listened to him. Somebody called him a cow shepherd. Somebody called him a liar. Somebody called him Ranchor. That means he ran away from the war field. So many things. Somebody call him thief. Somebody call him whatever. There are different views. Even while he was alive, right? And even now, it's not that everybody believes him to be the God, right? There's so many people who don't like his philosophy, and there are so many people who are deeply immersed into his philosophy. And there are, I think, more than 1,000 interpretations of Bhagavad Gita. So what Krishna did, from my understanding, was he he was just enjoying that moment, and the whole drama, whole Leela was there to deliver a message through the Bhagavad Gita, which contains, I think, the most complete scripture is Bhagavad Gita, wherein everything is there for everyone, be it a warrior, be it a person who is fully involved in actions, be it a person who is devotional, be it a person who is on path of knowledge, be it a person who is doing meditation, or for believers, non-believers, duality, non-duality, everything is there. Everything is there. Whatever is spirituality is there in the Gita. We have never tried to get into deep into those shlokas, those verses, because even one verse is sufficient to make you understand what he is speaking. It appeals to different persons differently. So that was the main point of delivering the whole situation such that he can deliver the punch or the punch lines, I would say, in form of Bhagavad Gita. Because rest everything is, if you correlate what is Duryodhan, what is Duryodhan is ego, what is Arjuna? Arjuna is a attentive mind. What is Krishna himself? He is the Sakshi or the experiencer. Who is this the guru of Pandavas and Kauravas? He is habits. So you see how it is beautifully defined that each Pandava has their own thing which you can identify within your own body. Each character is a significant being which can be identified with his body mind structure, and the whole war is going within yourself. Each moment, the question we talked about, ethics and non-ethics, righteousness and wrongfulness, is that conflict not within you right now? That whether I should do this in this moment or do something else in this moment, is this conflict not there? If that conflict is there, then Gita is needed. Then the uh, then what he said is needed to be understood. And when once you start understanding the key message from it, that conflict will start resolving. Then the righteousness, the means to get some experience, and desires, and the desire to be free, which we call in Hindi dharma, arth, kam, or moksha. These four things will lose their significance if you are settled within yourself. All these four are required to make you settle within yourself. That's the whole purpose of this Purusharth, this righteous activity. See, there are three paths, and all three are identical in my view. One is the path of action, second is the path of the action includes path of meditation, second is path of devotion, and third is path of knowledge. Now, these three paths are understood properly and will lead you to the same place if they are leading you to peace, they are leading you to love, and they are leading you to freedom. If these three things are the outcome of following certain path, then you are on the right direction. I will repeat: the peace, the freedom, and love. The outcome of all these paths should be these three things. If it is not, then there is some error in understanding the path correctly. So each individual has to pass through all these three paths. It's not that I can only be in path of knowledge and ignore being a good righteous person. I can be in path of knowledge and does not have any devotion towards the guru. Or I can be only on path of action and don't think about what is surrender and what is knowledge. It is impossible that you ignore one and you just take one course. Although we say on path of knowledge that the path of knowledge is direct path, it is pathless path, it is the end of all paths. This is all okay. But once you say this statement, it means that you have crossed the other paths already. But rather, I will say that the end of path of knowledge is the love, the surrender. The end of path of action is again love and surrender. And the end of path of devotion is obviously love and surrender. So if you think that path of knowledge you can use your intellect and know everything, then it is a big mistake. You can't do that. You have to have surrender and love for your teacher. Otherwise, I don't think you will ever be able to understand what is being said. And same with action. You have to surrender the fruits of the action. You have to see that there is no doer. You have to see that everything is being done by some force, which is not me at least. So there is some other entity which is using this equipment to make things happen. Then where am I? Same with path of devotion. That the the God whom I believe is giving me everything. But there is still duality in all these paths, right? The duality in path of action is that I am doing action and something is happening. Path in devotion is that I am different, my God is different. The duality in path of knowledge is that I am the experiencer and there are experiences. Now, you see, the duality, as long as it remains, the finity of the path is not understood. Therefore, path of knowledge is sometimes called the highest path because all other paths will lead you to path of knowledge, and then path of knowledge dissolves into the path of love. That's how I see it. But somebody else can have different views in this part. Satya has said that karma applies to the body mind mechanism only. No rules for I, the Brahman. Excellent. Because when I think that I am thinking, that I am thinking is not the real I, which you said that as Brahman. Because Brahman is all inclusive. It is, I think Guruji was saying the last satsang that we have made some imaginary, some imagination of the word Brahman. Everybody will have their own imagination of what is Brahman. And as soon as this word is uttered, we will roll down into that this is Brahman. We don't know what is Brahman, what is this human being, what is mind, what is intellect, what is memory, and we think that we know. So it is good that we walk in a systematic manner, in more, I mean, work with a under a guru, have faith on him or her, and then see what happens. Then magic will start happening. Mira has said if the layer of wisdom open, then whatever person do is ethical. Very right, very good. Maybe other person or society feel unethical, but it is still ethical. Like whatever guru do is ethical. Maybe we don't understand at our level. Very right, very nicely put, Mira. Because as we discussed a lot about ethical and ethical, when you say that whatever guru do is ethical, There is no guru himself at that point of time. Guru is not acting as a person at that point of time. Rest of the time he may act as a person when he is not talking to a seeker. Then he may act like a normal being, earning for himself, keeping body healthy and all such mundane things, so to say. But once he is in that space, then he is not doing anything. So whatever happens through that body mind structure will be ethical. Rohit has said that we are talking about two different realities. One has to be ethical in normal day to day life. When considering Parmarth or Advait, nothing is real or everything is perfect, as only experiencer is the real. Yes, you are right, Rohit, that there are two levels of understanding, not really. One is practically what is required to make this body, like if give you an example, you know that non-duality is what is. Now you cannot say and go and stand in front of a moving lorry that this is non-dual. The lorry is me. I am no different from lorry. So how does it matter? You will be killed instantly. The body mind structure will be abolished. At least the body will be destroyed. Similarly, you can't kill and say, no, no, I have killed myself. No, that is not possible in practical living being. But is it always not? I think it is always possible to see the non duality while being in the world. The principles of non duality will still hold true while behaving in a duality. Let me clarify how what I'm saying is that you can always see that oneness, although you may behave as if it is dual. If that is possible, then you don't have to behave like it is all one. Behavior and the understanding are two different things. Like two actors, they behave as if they are in absolute love on the screen, but after a while, they are just as they may not be good friends also sometimes. But on the screen, the chemistry is such that they are the lovers. So behavior is like that. So you can't judge through a behavior that what is within that person. Although, I mean, if you can see through the behavior. That is also possible. But this is true that behaviorally you have to behave in certain manner which is ethical, non-ethical in the society. Otherwise, the rules of the society will be governing. If you say I am not this body and you go and kill somebody, this body will be punished. No, you are not the body. This body will be hanged, so you are not the body. So why you bother about it? So we have to be see both the things simultaneously. The rules which are applicable in the higher layers will hold true in the lower layers, but the rules which are applicable in lower layers will not be true in the higher layers. So in that thing, if you see, then this conflict will resolve. Vipan has said one more reason to follow ethics defined by society can be the survival of this body, as there are consequences and society can be crushing on you if being a body, their ethics are not followed. Otherwise, all ethics are relative. Very good. That's what exactly what we said just now. Sanjeev has said Guru of Pandava and Kaurava is Dronacharya. Sorry, I missed his name somehow. So Dronacharya is representing habits. Means what? He is teaching both Kauravas and Pandavas. He is the teacher of both Kauravas and Pandavas. So if good habits are there, they will make you evolve. And if bad habits are there, they will pull you away from yourself. They will make you restless. They will do all sort of nonsensical behavior. So habit is not differentiating between right behavior and wrong behavior. It is just forming impressions which are so deep that it's like a track which will be followed in future all the time. Sham is saying why there is duality between body, mind, and Brahman. So, if anybody wants to answer this question, because there is some error in this question. The question which he is asking is why there is duality between body, mind, and Brahman. If anybody wants to speak, also is fine. Otherwise, they can write. Satya has written that duality is only till one knows oneself. Duality is due to ignorance. Very good. So, what Satya is saying is that duality is not real. It is ignorance which makes duality to be taken as real. So, the question is that why there is duality between body, mind. I believe that body, mind is taken as a one entity and Brahman. So, if you talk about duality in the word, then it is not duality, it is multiplicity. Like there are multiple bodies, there are trees, there is right, there is wrong, there is good, there is bad, ethical, unethical, inert, living. So, it is not duality, it is multiplicity. But once you come to duality, it means something else. It means two. And what is those two things? One is the experiencer and other is experience. So you said is right, body mind, but why you are excluding everything else? Like the word, the objects, the elements, everything else is also an experience, including body and mind. Now that all is put under one category, which is experience. And the other category is experiencer or the witness. Now, what is Brahman? Brahman is neither exclusively experiencer nor exclusively experience. So, what is Brahman? Brahman contains both experience and experiencer. And Brahman is non dual. Satya is saying existence. Yes, existence. Existence has only two things: one, the experiencer, two, the experiences. Now, they are not two. That is non duality. Not that whatever you see in the word is same, meaning right is same as left or ethical is same as unethical, the tree is same as a cow and cow is same as elephant. That is not non-duality. The non-duality is that the whole existence is divided into two parts. One is experience, other is experiencer or the witness. Does anyone here can divide existence into, I mean, these are the most fundamental division. Further divisions will be down the line. But the most fundamental division, is there anything else which is available other than experience and experiencer? Are they ever apart? Are they ever different? Are they found at separate times or separate space? Or there is any boundary between the two? So that is non-duality. When we see that the experiencer itself is experience. So you can't get it through intellect. You may understand the words being spoken, but you will still not believe it that this is true. That's the, I think we started with this discussion today. Whether you believe non duality to be true or you take it as a theory, as a concept. So, this is a big difference. If you think it is non duality is written somewhere in some scripture, some great gurus have said it, but it is still I am not able to see it. This is a big issue with several seekers, that they say that okay, it is fine in concept, but it's not useful in daily life. Actually, it is not supposed to be useful in daily life. What we are, what I am saying, or the scriptures are saying, or what great gurus have said, that see that this is what it is. Whether it is useful or not useful is a secondary thing. But is there something else? Can anyone prove here that there is duality? Can anyone give any logic why there is duality? How there is duality? Then we can discuss on that itself. If somebody here believes that non-duality is a concept and duality is the reality, is that anybody can give any proof for this, that duality is truth? So if someone has some logic to explain that duality is truth, we can deliberate further deep into it. Or else, if somebody else wants to add something to what Shyam has asked, see, Brahman is not to be compared with body and mind, because body and mind also is Brahman. It is part of the existence. So it's actually, there are no parts in the existence, to be very honest. The two parts which we talk about, experiencer and experience, are actually not two. We start with this, that I am experiencer and I am not the experience. But that is just the starting thing. Ultimately, it will end into oneness, it will end into non duality, it will end into there being not two. In fact, it is not right to say oneness. Just what is being said is the two are not there, non dual. And there they end. They don't say it is one. So I hope it is clear. Otherwise, you can still ask, or somebody else can add on to what I have said. Any other? Sham is not convinced. He said it is paradoxical. Body mind itself is part of duality, and we are speaking of not dual. See, Sham, you're getting stuck in intellect. I think we did the 3D day program together. So you are still stuck in intellect. Intellect also is an experience, right? So intellect cannot understand what is non-duality. You can be non-dual, and once you, not once, you are actually always non-dual. So your confusion is that the body mind itself is part of duality, and we are speaking of non-duality. Yes, very right. That body mind is part of duality, and whatever you can know, you can speak of only is duality. Means whenever you utter a word, it is in duality. So, what is non duality? It is just silence, it is just beingness, it is just presence. It cannot be spoken of. Actually, whatever is beautiful cannot be spoken of. Don't take non duality to be a very serious thing. Can you speak what is love? Can you speak what is peace? Can you say, can a uh, dumb fellow say what is sweetness? Can a blind person say what is green and what is blue? So, point is ki don't try to understand non-duality intellectually, because intellect itself is an experience. It is again in duality, as you rightly mentioned. So, how to see the non-duality then? Can anybody answer this difficult problem which everybody has? That if non-duality is beyond intellect, obviously it is beyond mind, it is beyond body, because what we see is multiple bodies. So how they are non-dual? What we see is multiple minds, how they are one, and what we see is only duality. What we speak is only duality. So, how to be in non duality? That is the problem. Meera is saying only at the level of illusion duality is true and very much required for survival. Absolutely right. Satya is saying it is needed for survival, transactional reality. Very true. Shyam is saying yes, it's only intellectual. Vipan is saying dividing nature of mind brings names and forms to experience. For the play to happen, realization and dispassion bring being in non duality. To read it again. Dividing nature of mind brings names and forms. Okay. For the play to happen, realization and dispassion brings being in non duality. So, what you are saying is realization and dispassion will lead you to non duality. Andy is saying you can't use the intellect to understand non duality. Yes, absolutely. This is what I was saying. So, what Vipan is saying is said is right. First is dispassion, second is realization. I think these are the two wings of all the practices in the whole universe. If you have the right knowledge, then dispassion will happen. If you have the right knowledge, that itself is called realization into some manner or another. So the vivek and vairagya, which is called in Hindi, that means discrimination and dispassion, non-attachment. These two are the wings which can take you to practice. Also is included practice and dispassion. Some you can say, or discrimination and dispassion you can say. So what is dispassion and what is discrimination or the vivek or wisdom? See, dispassion is whatever is seen or whatever is heard, there is no interest left in it. That is dispassion. But the higher form of dispassion is when you see, when you know the experiencer, when you know the existence, when you know the essence of the existence. So that pull is sufficient to make you have dispassion over whatever is not the essence. That is real dispassion, in the sense that there is no effort in that dispassion. It is just pure love, pure being, pure peace, and pure awareness of my own being. And then dispassion automatically happens. It is not an effort to leave something, to have not detachment. There is no action then. Amongst the people you are alone, while being in a in crowded space you are in a jungle, and the opposite can also happen. If there is lack of knowledge, while being in jungle you are always in a crowd. So dispassion doesn't mean you have to leave something. You don't have to enjoy that you are leaving something. Dispassion means there is nothing which you can leave. There is nothing yours anyway. You are so untouched. You are so pure. You are so perfect that either everything is you or nothing is yours. And there is no I. The I itself is biggest blunder. So I think that is one. Second is realization. So realization is just this realization that what is my essence will lead you to dispassion. So these two are complementary to each other, the realization and dispassion. And the dispassion is full of love. It's not dry. That knowledge is not dry actually. Real knowledge is not dry. It is full of love. It is full of compassion. It is full of beauty. It is the nectar which is flowing. It's not dry, not at all. If it is dry, then it is intellectual. Then it is not self realization, then it is something else. It is another load on your head. So don't think path of knowledge is dry. It will lead you to surrender and love. If it is not leading you to surrender and love, you are not on the path of knowledge. You are doing something else. Andy has written, to understand non duality, you need to go beyond the intellect and surrender. Only when you surrender does the egoic self disappears, the intellect disappears, and then the only one that is true remains. Very beautifully said, Andy. I think I just said same thing in different words. So thank you so much for putting it correctly, that intellect cannot reach non-duality. Please be very clear on this. Second, intellect will lead you to surrender and surrendering the intellect itself. Third, when you surrender, you don't even surrender the ego. Ego is seen that it is not there. That's it. It is already surrendered then. Surrender then. And that egoic self disappear, and a different self starts appearing. There is a very beautiful verse spoken by Raman Maharishi. Ahami nash bhajya aham taya. It means what? That egoic self, that small self, is destroyed. Nash bhaj. It is nowhere to be seen. It just gone. It disappeared. Aham taya. Another one appears. Another, you can't call it ego, but another I appears. And that I is all inclusive. That I is existence. That I is perfect. That I is beauty. That I doesn't have any divisions. That I does not have possesses any variation within it. That I cannot be compared with anything. That I has both experience and experiencer. That I is the existence, and that which is seen, that which is not seen. That I is ever untouched. That I is not to be found in some experience, and that I is not to be found in some non experience. It is not special, and it is not general. I don't know how to put it. I don't know. The lack of words, lack of aham mi nash bhaj aham taya. Sfruti hart swam. Param purna something. One more word is there. So it evolves in your heart. Spruti. Spruti means it just emerges. It emerges in the heart, not in the intellect, in the heart, not in the brain, but in the love. Spruti Hurt Swam, it is appearing on its own. There's no effort. Param Purna Satya. That is the whole truth. That is the, I don't know. See how beautifully he has put something which cannot be put in words. Ahami Nashe Bhaji Aham Taya. Spruti Harti Swam Param Purna Satya. One shlok, one shlok is sufficient to take you to non duality, which you always are, which you never, ever can be in duality. Although you see duality, but when you are seeing duality, it is only non duality. If it is duality, then show me where is duality. You will say, I am a human being, you are a human being, this is duality. No, this is not duality. I cannot know your thoughts, you cannot know my thoughts, it is duality. No, it is not duality. I think we can talk about it in more detail in the next meeting, that why it is not duality. If anybody has any thoughts, if I can't know your thoughts and you can't know my thoughts, the duality is proven, right? I think there is some error in this statement. So we will start our discussion next time with this. That if I can't know you within what is happening within you, and you can't know what is happening within me, then duality is proven. What is the error in this statement? I have a experiencer, you have a experiencer. I think this is the error, right? So experiences are two. My experiencer, your experiencer. Is that possible? What you are calling as experiencer, that I cannot know your thought, you cannot know my thought. See, example is very easy. Like in a dream. In a dream, the dreamer is everything. Dreamer becomes a character. Dreamer becomes different characters. Dreamer become the objects. And dreamer forgets himself to be the dreamer. Then he sees the duality. Now you can correlate this example with the waking state, and you will find that exactly same thing is happening. The dreamer has forgotten himself. The dreamer has become many. But was dreamer ever many? Was dreamer two? Was the dream character who thinks I am the dream character and other characters I am interacting and those interactions are real? Are they in duality? Are they any different from the dreamer? So this is just a metaphor to understand that what might be happening in waking state. And what is the difference between waking state and the dream state? Is it not possible that the dream character is having a dream which we call as waking state? Which was the question Ashtavakra, I mean Raja Janak asked Ashtavakra. Is it not the butterfly which is thinking I am a human being? And this human being is a dream of the butterfly? Why we are so convinced that this waking state human being is dreaming and dream is false and the waking state is truth? How we are so convinced about it? What is the proof? Everything is changing in dream, everything is changing in waking state. The only difference is one is changing fast and other is changing slow. But that doesn't makes one to be real and other to be false. Both are changes. So either both are unreal or both are true. So that's why the criteria for truth is very important to understand and reach to the right understanding. I think I have spoken a lot and we have more than an hour. So we close here. Very nice of all of you to join in to talk. I will only urge that please speak up, please write, please express. That's how I have done myself. When I started in Path of Knowledge, I spoke liberally with, I mean, if you see, mostly those were in Hindi recorded satsangs. There were so many questions which I kept on asking, because the more I heard videos, the more questions evolved. And Guruji was so liberal to answer them all. And once he said, I'm not here to answer all your questions. And anyway, but still he answered. So this is a phase. First, there will be no questions. Second, there will be many questions. Third, there all questions will disappear. So only a totally ignorant person or a wise man does not have any question. In between, there will be questions. So please express yourself. Please feel free. Don't think that what others will think. Let them think whatever they want to think. You can't stop it, right? It is not, these meetings are not for somebody else. It is for you. It is for one person, which is you. So feel free, and I think we can conclude today's discussion here. Thank you so much for coming in, joining in, and lots of love to all of you. And see you next Friday. Thank you. Bye.